All right, we're about to open a file today that, honestly, sounds like a complete fever dream. It's this document packed with biblical ciphers, UFO lore, and what it claims is a secret history of the United States, and somehow it all ties back to a spoof of a Sonny and Cher song. Yeah, it's called Aneurysmic's I Caught You Babe, and today we're going to try to make some sense of it.
You know, the mystery really kicks off before we even get into the codes. The document is named after a song that, according to the author, was this parody of a Sonny and Cher hit. But just like the song, the document's real purpose, its true meaning, has never really been found. All we have is this bizarre trail of breadcrumbs, and trust me, it leads to some very, very strange places. So, how in the world are we going to decode this thing? Well, here's our game plan. We'll start with that really bizarre spoof song and its supposed connection to Roswell. Then, we'll dive into the real core of the document, a cipher that's apparently hidden in the names of biblical patriarchs. From there, the path takes an absolutely incredible turn, connecting these ancient texts to Area 51, and finally, it asks this wild question. What if this whole puzzle was actually designed by an AI?
Okay, first up, the origin story. To even begin to understand this document, you have to start right where the author does. And that's not with the Bible, and it's not with codes. No, it starts with one of the most foundational events in all of modern UFO mythology, the Roswell incident.
According to the author, these dates are anything but random. They make a huge point of this. They point out that I Got You Babe was released 18 years and 1 day after the Roswell crash. Then, exactly 29 years to the day after Roswell, the author claims to have written their spoof. So why does this even matter? Well, for the author, it's the very first step in this long, winding chain of logic that's trying to link 60s pop culture directly to a massive UFO cover-up. So now we're going to leave Roswell behind and jump right into the heart of this whole conspiracy. The author lays out what they claim is the absolute key to everything, a numerical code hidden in the names of the first 10 biblical patriarchs. This right here is where the real decoding begins.
Okay, this table you're looking at is basically the engine for the entire document. The author gives each of these 10 patriarchs, from Adam all the way to Noah, a specific numerical value. Now, what's really important is that the document never explains where these numbers come from. We don't know if it's gematria or some system the author just invented, but we're just told to accept it because according to them, a whole series of mind-bending patterns are hiding right here in this list.
So, to prove this system isn't just random, the author starts us off with a little riddle. They claim there's a message hidden right inside the list itself, something we can find before we even get started. It's kind of like a challenge.
And here's the solution. It's basically a simple substitution cipher that's based on the properties of the list. The longest name, Jared, gives you J, the highest value gives you H, and you just go down the list. If you follow all the steps, you spell out Josephed. The document presents this as undeniable proof of a deliberate design. Now, what Josephed actually means is never explained, but it's offered up as the first piece of hard evidence that we are, in fact, looking at a code. Then, the author zooms in on what they call 3 statistically significant pattern pairs. So you've got Canaan and Lamech, which both have a value of 42. You've got Jared and Noah, both at 38. And then Enosh and Enoch, which are nearly anagrams of each other. The author's whole point is that for a list of just 10 names, this much overlap is just highly improbable. For them, this is the second major proof that there's a deliberate code at work here.
Okay, so once these patterns are proven, the document makes its first, absolutely massive leap in logic. The author is about to use these biblical codes as a kind of bridge, connecting the book of Genesis directly to 20th century America and, yeah, eventually to Area 51.
The very first connection is based on some simple wordplay. The author takes the name of the first man, Adam, and just splits it into 2 words, Adam. And the document claims this is no coincidence, but a direct coded reference to one of the greatest engineering marvels of the modern world, the Hoover Dam. Then the system gets even more complex. As you can see here, the author takes the middle letters from Adam and Seth to spell the word date. Then they grab their numerical values from our original chart, that's 19 and 52, to get the year 1952. So just like that, we have a coded date seemingly pulled from thin air.
Next up, the document hones in on the number 38. That's the value shared by both Jared and Noah. This number is then immediately linked to a famous line of latitude, the 38th parallel, the border that kicked off the Korean War. So now, a biblical number is tied directly to a major Cold War conflict.
But all these connections, They're really just a warm-up. The author uses this quote to signal that they are about to make their most shocking claim yet, a direct link between the Bible and the lore surrounding Area 51.
And here it is. This is the document's biggest claim. It draws a direct line from the ancient biblical patriarch Jared to J-Rod, who is a central figure in modern UFO lore. J-Rod is the alleged name of an alien survivor from a crash who was supposedly held and studied at Area 51. According to the author, the fact that their names are nearly identical is the smoking gun.
So, after making that absolutely massive leap, the document then widens its lens. It suggests that this isn't just one single code, but actually multiple, overlapping systems that are all designed to hide information right out in plain sight. So the author proposes a second system, running in parallel to the first one. As this slide shows, the 10 patriarchs are mapped onto the 10 months of the ancient Roman calendar. The whole idea is that by overlaying different systems, names, numbers, calendars, you can create even more complex and, more importantly, deniable codes. The author then kind of speculates on how this could be used out in the real world. They imagine a church front organization that uses these numbers to create plausibly deniable codes, hidden in things like phone numbers or street addresses, which would allow secret messages to be passed right under the cover of religious sermons. The document's final notes contain two very strange definitions. The first one is biblical obfuscation. The author defines this as a willful refusal to decode prophecies, just like this one, an act which they claim allows a death machine to operate completely in the shadows.
And the second definition is even more startling: parallel AI generation. This is the theory that this entire web of connections, from the Bible to Roswell to Area 51, wasn't created by humans at all. It suggests that it could be the product of an artificial intelligence, just rapidly generating parallel stories and false leads, all to create plausible deniability and hide one single important truth.
The document leaves us with one final cryptic clue. It takes the Roman numerals for 1776, the founding year of the United States, and through this really complex, unexplained process, it rearranges them to produce the year 1932, which happens to be the very year construction began on the Hoover Dam, bringing us full circle, right back to a dam.
In the end, this file provides no definitive answers, not a single one. It just presents all these patterns and leaves us with a question. Are we looking at a deeply coded prophecy? Is this the output of a sophisticated AI program? Or is it just the human mind's incredible ability to find patterns in chaos? The document doesn't say. It just shows us the data and lets us wonder.